As full liquidity returns to the markets, we're seeing the major U.S. stock averages lower. Now, we did get those earnings out from Goldman Sachs as well as Johnson & Johnson, and they are having an effect on banking as well as healthcare. So joining me now to weigh in on the earnings as well as the latest in geopolitics is Alan Valdes of SilveBear Capital. Alan, great to have you here today. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Remy.
Well, here we are. Earnings season has kicked off, and we did get those misses, but we also got expectations met in other companies. So what do you make of the latest mixed batch of earnings?
I think overall we're going to have a solid earnings season. Last quarter was a blowout quarter for the Dow. I think you'll see that reflected in sales also with earnings. So I think we'll have a good earnings. Goldman's was a surprise, that's for sure. They haven't had a miss since 2015, and that was enough to... On the weighted average, Goldman was 60 points of the downside this morning. I don't know where we're trading now with Goldman, but it weighed on that. Johnny & Johnny weighed on it also. But overall, I think we'll have a good earnings season.
And we can't ignore the geopolitics that are in the spotlight. We did get a holiday weekend, and nothing did happen, thankfully, but we'll still have to monitor situations in the Middle East as well as North Korea. And we also had the presidential elections in France coming up. So what are you keeping your eyes on?
There's a potpourri of things you got to keep your eye on as a trader. You're right. Nothing happened on the Korean Peninsula, but at the same time, they did shoot off a missile. Nothing's really changed except they didn't explode a nuclear device. That's one positive. But overall, Russia's still chiming in, saying you don't want to do anything unilaterally, so you got to be careful out there. And the French elections keeps changing every day. Now the left is surging. Le Pen is still basically tied for the lead. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens over there.
Yeah, a lot is happening around the globe in terms of geopolitics as well as politics. It was very interesting today in terms of the foreign exchange market. We saw a pop in the British pound today, and that did come as UK Prime Minister Theresa May. She did announce early general elections, and this does come amid what we're seeing in terms of the Brexit play out. So how do you see that actually playing out?
Yeah, that was another surprise. No one knew she was going to announce that at all. And I think it'll play out good for Theresa May. I think it'll work out fine for them. And right now, it was going to be the downfall of Britain when they left the euro. But actually, they're doing pretty good. Things haven't been great, but they haven't fell apart either. So I think you're going to see a lot of things in Europe if Britain continues to be strong. And if Le Pen should win, that's a game changer. You could see a whole swing over there.
And last but not least, I do want to ask you about what to expect from the Trump administration. Now, Treasury Secretary Mnuchin did say that tax reforms could take longer than anticipated, given what we're seeing in terms of the attempt to reform healthcare. But we do have Pence as well as Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross going to Japan to talk about trade. What do you expect to see this week?
Well, you bring up a great point. Tax reform, most people want to see that front and center, and they don't want to see that in the background. And I think one of the reasons yesterday, we had a great day. We were up over 180 points, but on light volume. If you look from mid-March till now, we've basically traded sideways on very light volume. Today, the volume's very light, and we've been all over the map. So I think traders are getting a little aggravated, a little antsy. They're not going to keep buying this market if they don't see some resolve in that tax plan come down the pike soon. So I think he's got to focus on that. Otherwise, I think by the summer, you could see the market start to sell off more and more.
Well, while we're talking taxes, today is tax day, so I shouldn't be wishing you a happy tax day, but thank you so much for joining me today.